is if you do pick an alternate that maybe is sourced somewhere else, most of our products don't come from America anymore.
True.
Now, they might be put together here and they might put a label on it, but the actual material that made that thing, even if it's American made, well, that just usually means assembled here.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, very rare did everything be made within the boundaries of the country.
That stamp that made in America that everyone has in their head, it's a different stamp now, right?
I mean, it's just like it's got to meet certain criteria.
Yeah, it's got to meet enough criteria to get the little stamp on it, but it doesn't mean everything. The raw material was dug up here, turned into a product here. So being aware of what that is, and that really blurs the line when you start even like plywoods and stuff like that, right? I've seen there's domestic. Well, domestic what? Domestic. The plant was here, but where'd you get the trees from? Right? Where'd you get the plies from?
Just look for the stamp.
Yeah, right.
Just look for that stamp that's on there.
Just asking that question. I think a lot of people, a lot of time, are just hesitant to ask too far back of the question, like where did it really come from?
Yeah.
So supply chain in this situation really just opens the doors and kind of shows weaknesses, right? And just kind of being able to ebb and flow to get the project to the end is the goal. But just being aware of where you're solving that critical path thing, because that's the ones that people worry about, the critical path.
It's a critical path items. Yes, that's true.
Appliances at the end, ordering them way in advance, like, okay, as long as they're there's a place to store them. That's what I get worried about, is everyone runs in and says, okay, I need to order this, and then there's just nowhere to store everything. You scared up all the orders out of the market, but do you have a warehouse big enough to store all that when it lands and hits? Because that's the other thing, when it lands and hits, because they got the order, they're looking for, like, get it out, because we don't have enough space to store it, and then they want to offload it onto you, and your project's not ready yet for it. Well, they scared the order up, and they want it too soon, and then you got a high theft item, out there. And
if that's a company store, and that's usually when you get the call or email, I'm sorry, we can't be adding accounts right now.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
Overloaded as it is.
We're overloaded.
We're on allocation for whatever material.
Yeah. So just paying attention to all the aspects of what that is out there. So, how to deal with it, ordering early, but cognizant of what you're ordering early, and then what does the delivery of that look like? You shouldn't be paying early for it either, though. That would be the...
That rarely happens.
That rarely
it's usually
happens.
Always on delivery.
Yeah, it's usually the delivery, but...
it's kind of what the purchase order's for, is to kind of the contract to purchase it. So.
Right. Like, we're going to purchase it in this time frame. Now, you stack all those delays up and things like that. It adds up. It adds up and gets kind of tricky in there. So budgeting time frames, and this kind of wraps up into another conversation that we've had on another episode, is like time frame, like the builder's interest and the word interest, right? So they go hand in hand. So we're incentivized to finish this quicker. So delay doesn't help anyone out. It doesn't help, whoever the end user is. Doesn't matter if that's an investor, purchaser or whatnot. Motivation.
Helps the bank.
Yeah, the bank.
It helps the bank.
Helps the bank, right? Yeah, they're the ones. Woof! Don't get me started on that one. They love it when they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, take another month."
Right? Okay. Just
thank you. Yeah.
Keep us posted.
Don't take too long, but don't go too fast.
That's right.
Right.
But even they will start to get nervous. They like, hey, y'all getting close to finishing this? Or
Yeah. We want to
lend that money out to somewhere else.
We would like to lend it again
somewhere
and again.
Else,
yeah, right. Or do you want it again on the next project? Exactly. Right. Finish this one so I can give it back to you. Charge this interest again. Right. Don't get me started on that one. That one's a whole episode that we should do. That episode on like banking. And I don't know. That one's painful.
It is painful.
Yeah, I don't think that
chalks up some bad memories.
Yeah,
for me.
and anytime we're talking
office.
about people that invent money out of nowhere by keying stuff in and going, oh yeah, we have new money in the system now. Why?
It says right here.
It says we have new money in the system now. Why?
It says right here.
It says right here. You asked for it. That's you invented the money right now. Yeah, you invented it right now. Interesting. Our whole system's that way, huh? Yep. Okay, and I need you to hurry up and give that back because I need to enter this in the system again. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because you're actually giving them real money back.
Right, exactly. You created money. You gave me money. I'm giving you real money back. And then you want to do it again and just type stuff into the computer again. I see. Yeah, it's a very interesting system that we have.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
This way the cookie. And we're too small to do anything about it. So you just have to operate in the system, just knowing how the system works, right?
Yeah.
But that does tie into the shortages because the shortages is a length of time mechanism, right? And trying to stay on your length of time. Because if you go across that length of time, then there's fees, points, stuff that you're paying, there's additional costs going into that right there. And so no one wants to pay that, much less trying to approach a vendor and say, hey, you cost me this much time. They're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
No one cares on that side. So that's your job to manage that situation. So,
yep.
Yeah. So, I mean
that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's in it in a nutshell. I'd say if we were to recap that really quickly, is like there's no benefit in taking additional time, but paying attention to critical path.
Yes.
Right. If it's a critical path item, that's more important than a shortage on roses for the garden.
True.
Or the flower bed outside. Right. A sod shortage could be a problem, but that would be a very local. I don't think the pandemic, I don't know. Maybe there's a.
That's usually weather related.
Yeah, right.
They can't peel it up off the field.
At this point, I'm like, I don't know. They will invent a reason that there's a shortage in that one. So, but just paying attention to critical, like your mailbox is not necessarily the critical path one. Just pick a different one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Paint, it is on the critical path, but it's something that you could source from a different.
Pick a different color.
Magic color. Where that one comes, that one may sound stupid to people out there, but there's only so many. There's only basically 3 paint manufacturers in the United States anymore: PPG, Sherwin-Williams, and Valspar.
Yeah.
Right, and so now they all have consolidated. They all have different brand names, right? And then one of the letters I got, I'll just leave the company name out of it, but basically they're saying, hey, we're not going to be manufacturing this line of paint, which is the bases. Yeah. Right. And then you need that base to make certain colors. And so certain colors are not available because that base isn't being made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I got that letter too.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. And I heard that come back to me as like from someone else saying that they stopped making these paint colors. And I'm like, no, not necessarily in that roundabout way. They're not making the base that needs that base.
You can still make the color. It's just, it's maybe one extra step or something.
Yeah.
That's usually when I go back and go, well, just give me the colors that you can buy every day, all day.
Right.
And I'll just pick from there.
And that's really, they know the popular colors, right? And they're just trying
to
like
those.
If you want, this cyberpunk blue, right? Nice. Right? Cyberpunk blue, and it's not available because it's some deep base and it needs this. So just pick a different color.
Yep, that's
right?
true.
Like but that goes back to asking the right question, though.
That is true.
Right? Understanding that was the problem is the base that it came out of. Like pick the line that you could get that or something close to it. And I've had that actually on glues, and when that was actually the first time I heard of the shortage problem was we use a 1-part glue in this process that we put a finish on a door, and I called up to get some more of it, and this was months ago. This is probably 9 months ago now. Right. Before all this was like getting out there, I was like, what do you mean you can't get the one? It's glue. Right. And this sales rep started getting into like the chemical makeup of it and like, well, it's made out of this, and this. I said, well, apparently one of the ingredients is pixie dust because you can't find any more of it. So someone needs to go out and look at the end of the rainbow for this pixie dust because you can't find any of it. Right. He's trying to explain that, this person makes, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but this binds to this and it doesn't bind to that. And I'm like, I mean, listen, I don't know at what point horses stopped being in glue, but it was a long time ago, right?
So that's when you go, so what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, what are you trying to tell me? It was like this real complicated. It was like, no, the end of the story is you're going to have to use this two-part glue now, right? And I was like, to me, initially, I was like, okay, was it cost more? They're like, nah, not really. It doesn't cost more, until I got it. And I was like, oh, now here's how it costs more. Takes me a ton more time to mix it. And when you mix it, you're mixing a catalyst into a 5-gallon thing and you got 4 hours to use it.
Yep.
Well, what if I only wanted to use 1 gallon? Well, I could use 1 gallon and not throw the other 4 gallons away. Well, at $85 a gallon, when you throw, well, wait a minute, I need to pour this in and you mix all of it. Oh, I see. Now I could potentially, at the end of this, mixing it up, maybe only needed 6 gallons today. Right. And that's where the additional cost, the additional time and
scheduled around a shortage.
Yeah, around a shortage, right? So that was my pixie dust thing. And now it turns out many things are made out of pixie dust.
Yes, there was. Especially that one particular glue, actually.
That one particular glue, right? And maybe paint colors are made out of pixie dust. They can't find any more pixie dust. There was a shortage on pixie dust. Like some of these things, like when you're
flew north for the summer.
So removed from like how products are made, like we're end users of products, right? Giving me the information of like what binds, like his litter structures on. I'm like, chemistry was not my strong suit, right? And me caring what two chemicals
is even lower.
Is even lower than my chemistry. It's all I know is I can't get it anymore, right? Why these two things bond together, I'm not sure I know that information or want to know that information. What's my alternative to that information?
Yeah.
So all I heard was, wah, 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 must be made out of pixie dust because we can't find it anymore. I was like, oh, I get it. Right. So that was the first time about 9 months ago. I said, I think we've got a problem going on here if we can't get that stuff. And then it turns out it's, not just single part glues. It's all kinds of things. And then it just domino affected down into chips and me buying
and
the wrong
everything
chips.
Else and garage doors and all that other good stuff.
Yeah. Like I say, I still got chips out there if anyone wants.
Do you think that's all we can say about scheduling around shortages?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did episode, what did we say? Agree that
this 18.
This 18 in the
We're
can?
adults now.
We're adults. Hey,
we're going to be borrowing the car soon.
Yeah, we're going to be, legal at some point. We are legal at this point.
Yeah,
right?
well, for some things. We can join the military.
Join the military. We can buy guns. Can't drink yet.
You can vote.
Right. Vote. Right.
Can't drink. But that's okay.
That's okay. All right. Well, appreciate everyone tuning us in.
Yep. Thank y'all.
All right.